Hi, welcome to Charlotte's Cooking Show. I'm Charlotte. I've got a big day of real estate ahead of me, but first, we're making fish tacos. The way I feel about crab cakes is exactly how I feel about fish tacos. If it's in a restaurant, I need to try it. But of course, like many things, making it at home can taste even better. So let's give it a try. Today we're making fish tacos with an avocado mango salsa and a really, really tangy, yummy, delicious mayonnaise-based sauce on top. It's gonna be so good. So for all fish tacos, of course, the star of the fish taco is the fish. I'm going to be using some fresh haddock. So I like to use whitefish. People use shrimp, they use salmon, all kinds of other types of fish. I also have frozen tilapia, which is also a really great light white fish. I buy these in frozen packets. You just buy them in the seafood section, and they're so great because they come individually packaged and they thaw in no time at all. So that's another great option as well if you don't have fresh. So even though the fish is the star of the show, we're going to start today's cooking show with making the cream sauce that's gonna go on top. It's not really a cream sauce, but it's a white sauce, and it has sour cream and mayonnaise as a base. And then we're gonna add some really tangy, yummy flavors, and we're gonna refrigerate that for a little while as we cook our fish and dice up all of our beautiful ingredients for our salsa. So we'll get that started now, and we start with half a cup of mayonnaise, half a cup of sour cream. Now, as an alternative to mayonnaise and sour cream, if that's not kind of the vibe you want to go, if you want something just a little lighter, you could just use plain Greek yogurt. I don't really like 0% anything. I like a little bit of fat and stuff, so I usually buy this 5% plain Greek yogurt, and that can be a great base as well because we're gonna add some lime juice to it and some spices. So if you don't like mayonnaise and sour cream, Greek yogurt's a great option. So throughout this entire fish taco recipe calls for a lot of lime. I'm going to use the juice from half of this lime. Before I juice it, I'm going to do a couple of things. First of all, I'm gonna wash it. Second of all, I'm going to kind of rub it out on the counter to kind of loosen the juices inside the lime. And then finally, I'm going to zest it just a little tiny bit to get some of that beautiful green color and that fresh lime taste. But let's get this washed. So we've got a little spice mix here we're gonna put in. We have a half a teaspoon of dill weed, half a teaspoon of ground coriander, half a teaspoon of oregano, and half a teaspoon of chili powder. And then we're gonna add a couple more things, but let's just put this in for now. Next up for our sauce, we have a couple of really interesting flavors. I'm going to dice up very finely a jalapeno pepper. I'm gonna take the seeds out. I'm not a huge fan of heat, but it does add some great flavor. And to add some tanginess to this fish sauce, I've got some capers here, and it's only about a half a teaspoon of just finely diced up capers. So I'm just gonna chop those real quickly. And finally, to finish off our sauce, I'm just gonna take a little handful of fresh cilantro and just chop that up, add it to the sauce. Okay, so we've brought this sauce together. We're looking for some nice kind of, not a runny consistency, but you don't want it to be too thick because you want to drizzle it over the fish tacos when it's done. So we've got all kinds of flavors here. Oh, it smells so good. And finally, let's just give it a little taste. I think the dill and the capers and the jalapenos and the, oh my gosh, that's so good. Okay. So we're gonna put that away, put that in the fridge and let that chill, and then we're gonna move on to our fish. Got our fish here. Now we're gonna make an oil-based marinade for the fish. I'm just going to use 3 tablespoons of regular old vegetable oil, and I'm just gonna drizzle that all over the fish. Then we are going to use a combination of spices. We've got some cumin, we've got some paprika, and we've got some, what else do we have? lime juice. We're gonna use the juice from the rest of our lime, and then we're gonna drizzle it all over here and mix it all up by hand. Missed a spice when I was talking. I've got cumin, half a teaspoon of cumin, half a teaspoon of paprika, half a teaspoon of chili powder. And we're just gonna put that all over the fish, and then we're gonna work this in with our hands. Moving right along, our fish is just sort of sitting in its yummy marinade. Now we're going to make our avocado mango salsa. And of course, not only does this look beautiful, it tastes delicious too. And it tastes really, really fresh. So on top of the fish, and then the sauce on top of that, it's going to just taste like summer, really. So the first thing we're gonna start with is one ripe, beautiful mango, and we're just gonna dice that up as fine as we can. I tried to find some ripe avocados, but I wasn't able to, so I've shown you a little trick, and we'll see that in a second. Let's start with the mango. So the thing about a mango is there's a large seed in the middle, and you have to kind of cut around it. So you start out, making the knife go outwards, and then you're gonna kind of bring it back in along the side of the mango. And you'll be able to feel that as you come against the side of the seed. So then you turn it lengthwise again, and you're gonna start over on the other side. Push your knife out, and then push it back in. And then you're gonna get that beautiful kind of curved mango piece. And then we're gonna do the same thing along the side. A little easier that way. But you can feel the resistance against the knife as you're hitting the side of the mango. See, there it is right there. So with the mango, I just cut it inside its skin. So you cut it along like this, and then you turn it and cut in the other direction. And then before you know it, you've got a perfectly diced mango that's still attached to the skin. And then you just run your knife along the bottom of it, and it all just kind of pops right out. So sometimes the struggle can be a challenge to find ripe avocados at the time that you want to use them. But if all fails, head to the freezer section of your grocery store and find frozen avocado chunks. People buy these to put in their smoothies in the morning and all that kind of great stuff, in their salads, but this is perfect if you're in a pinch and you don't have fresh, ripe avocados. So let's have a look and see what size they are. They're great little chunks. And once they thaw out, they're perfectly green. So they've been frozen at just the right time. We're just gonna dice those up and add them to the salsa. Like I said, not perfect, but it's a great substitute. Because we're going for that really bright, colorful salsa, I'm going to use half of this sweet red pepper. And if you like something with a little bit more kick to it, you might want to use a red onion, and that would give you that kind of red color. And of course, onion gives a whole different taste than red pepper, but I'm gonna stick with the red pepper today because we've got lots of flavors going on. So I've added in the other half of the jalapeno pepper, dice that up really finely, and now I'm going to grab another handful of fresh cilantro. I'm gonna dice that up as well. And I got thinking, if you didn't like red pepper, this is a great time of year for fresh strawberries, and that would go so amazingly well as a salsa, just a sweet salsa, to replace the red pepper with fresh red strawberries. So this salsa also has lime juice as its base, so I'm gonna give this a quick wash, and then I'm going to, again, give it a quick zest. And then I'm gonna cut it in half and juice it, and the juice of the entire lime for this salsa. All right, this is our salsa. You can see the avocado looks really great. It's all diced up. I'm gonna add a pinch of kosher salt and a large pinch of ground fresh black pepper. And then we're just going to mix this up. And the juice from the lime and all the different flavors and the cilantro is gonna mix together. We're gonna have this really, really yummy, delicious, fresh salsa. The trick with pan frying fish is to make sure your frying pan is really, really hot. I've got some vegetable oil here. Be generous. And then also, I'm going to add some butter, only because it just adds to great flavor and on the outside of the fish. One little thing that I kind of forgot to mention is I'm gonna add a little bit of panko breadcrumbs to the fish right now because I love that kind of crunchy, crispy taste that panko gives fish. I don't really love it beer battered in a fish taco, but a little bit of panko crumbs adds some great texture and flavor. Ready to put our fish in? Make sure when you put the fish on the hot frying pan, you just leave it alone for a few minutes. Don't try and flip it because that's when it's gonna break apart. You want it to create that really, really great seared, crispy bottom, and then at that time, it'll allow the fish to be lifted up from the bottom of the frying pan. If you try and lift it up too quickly, the fish is gonna break apart. Now, of course, Charlotte's cooking show is making this highly more complex than it needs to be. Fish tacos are a really, really simple, easy meal to make for your family. And honestly, the best way to do it would be to fry up some fish, open a bag of coleslaw and put some coleslaw sauce on it or mayonnaise or whatever, and then just have at it. But today, we're going to do a couple of options. I've got this bag of coleslaw mixture. I've got a little bit of coleslaw sauce in the fridge, and I also have a purple cabbage, and we're gonna shred that as well, and we'll have a couple of different options. So we've got all our parts done. Now it's time to bring it all together, and of course the best part is eating. So first we're gonna start with just a small tortilla shell. I'm gonna add a little tiny bit of our cream sauce here on the end or on the bottom, just to kind of hold things in place. And then we can either start with just a plain old mix of coleslaw, or I have shredded up some purple cabbage. So I think we'll do this. Oh, that tastes so good. Our fish looks so yummy. It's hot. This is also served cold. This is delicious as well. But served hot, let's take one of these beautiful pieces of fish right there. I think it needs a little bit more, don't you? Yes, of course. And then we're gonna top it off with our really delicious mango avocado salsa. There it goes. Look how colorful. And finally, some of this really excellent sauce on top. Look at that. First of all, it's pretty. Second of all, it's healthy. A little bit of fresh cilantro on top as well, just to add a little bit of color. And there, we've got the most beautiful fish taco. But if it looks good, I don't know, that's only half the battle. It's gotta taste good too. So let's see. Let's see if this is as good as I think it is. Oh my goodness. Fish tacos. You gotta make them.